Hi, my name is Carolyn Whitesell. I'm with the University of California Division of Agriculture and Natural Resources. And today I'm just going to briefly touch upon human-wildlife interactions post-fire. The impacts of wildfire on wildlife species will vary because there's so many variables to take into account. For example, the intensity and patch size of the fire, the length of time between the end of the fire and rain, the amount of rain, that's all going to impact the regeneration of vegetation, which in turn will impact wildlife movements. The forage regrowth after a fire can actually attract some species like deer, and less cover may make it easier for some predators to hunt. Now, of course, species have variable abilities to escape fire. Birds may fly away, amphibians and other small animals may burrow into the ground or take cover under rocks, although they still may not be safe if the fire is particularly intense. Larger mammals, like deer, coyotes, and mountain lions, will instinctively retreat from fire and may be able to escape the flames. Sometimes animals like elk have even been seen taking refuge in streams and lakes. But even large mammals that are highly mobile may not be able to escape successfully, depending on how quickly a fire is moving and how large the fire is. And while adults may be able to escape the fire, they may not be able to get their young to safety. In addition to direct impacts, of course, there are indirect impacts of fire. And even those individuals who are physically able to escape a fire will still be negatively impacted because of negative effects such as habitat loss. Although again, the situation can be complicated and species will respond differently to burned areas. We now have a few examples of wildfire effects on mountain lions and bobcats in California. For example, at the start of the Woolsey Fire in Southern California in 2018, which burned almost 100,000 acres, the National Park Service reported that there were 13 mountain lions with working radio collars living in and around the Santa Monica Mountains. 11 of the 13 survived, while 2 succumbed to the fire or to the impacts of the fire. There had also been 4 bobcats collared prior to the fire. While their home ranges were burned, they all survived, and 2 stayed within the original fire zone, while 2 moved to unburned areas. Recently, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife and UC Davis have created a partnership named the Wildlife Disaster Network to treat wildlife injured in wildfires and other disasters. They have already treated a few black bears and a mountain lion that had burned paws, which is further evidence of the negative impacts that wildlife face even when they are able to physically escape the flames. And that mountain lion has now been re-released after its paws were treated. On a broader scale, recent work by Panthera, which is a conservation organization, estimates that between 300 and 600 mountain lions have been killed, injured, or negatively impacted by this year's wildfires in California alone, which touches upon how significant these wildfires can be for different wildlife species. We still have a lot to learn about the impacts of recent wildfires on different wildlife. After the Springs Fire in Santa Monica Mountains in 2017, researchers from the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area set up camera traps in burned and unburned areas of the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area. A preliminary analysis, the results, showed that coyotes and gray foxes began using the burned areas soon after the fire, and the cameras actually captured more photos of coyotes in burned areas than in unburned areas. Bobcats, on the other hand, were rarely seen in burned areas. California mule deer appeared to show up more in the burned areas over time. These results may reflect the available prey for each species. So for example, while coyotes are generalists and so have a wider diet niche, they may be better able to use the burned areas. Coyotes are also highly adaptable and can occur in a wide range of habitats. Bobcats, on the other hand, may have been recorded less frequently in burned areas because they couldn't find enough habitat cover there, or because they heavily rely on small mammals that were rarely found in burned areas. Now, for the animals that are able to escape the fire, they will likely find themselves in unfamiliar areas where they may not know where to find food, how to avoid dangerous roads, and they may face increased competition from conspecifics. Animals that are forced into an unfamiliar area because of fire may have a higher risk of encountering conflict with people, but this hasn't been well studied. The theory, though, is that these new individuals that are pushed out into a new area where they don't know where the best place is to find food may be more likely to attack livestock or pet if they encounter it. But regardless of whether there is a fire or not in your area, it's always important to protect your pets and livestock from predators. And there are lots of different ways that one can do this. Please feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions on how you can best protect your pet or livestock from wildlife species living in your area. And I'll be posting my email at the end of this chat. You may also have seen online posts that often get circulated after fires about setting out water for wildlife that is escaping fires. State agencies actually discourage putting out water because it may encourage wildlife to remain near residential areas or people. Habituation to humans can have very negative consequences for wildlife. And we really don't want wildlife to become accustomed to being so close to people and relying on us for their needs. And that's it. It's a complicated topic, but if you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to reach out to me. You can see my email address here, and thank you so much for listening. Bye.